Yes, I'd like to start by thanking Mr. Michael Wright of Siegel Marco. Um, Trustees here don't have the tenure that Mr. Wright has. He is unwilling to commit to the exact number, but I believe it's over 25 years. His steady hand has guided the investment program for BERS. During the last 25 years, and this is actually kind of an amazing statistic. It comes from the RFP process we went through a little over 2 years ago, that for the most recent periods, our investment performance was hundreds of basis points better than our comparable systems in New York City. And that for 25 years, we had a 50 basis point compounded advantage. And while I would love to take credit for that, Mr. Wright was the only person present who could do that. I want to thank Mr. Wright for his years of dedicated service to the Board of Ed retirement system, our members and our staff, and to the taxpayers of New York City, for which he saved hundreds of millions of dollars. And Mr. Wright, I don't know if you wanted to offer us any final pearls of wisdom, but the floor is yours for a few minutes.
Well, just to say, I certainly appreciated working with BERS, and I think the team that you have now is as good as any I've worked with over those last 27 years. So I feel like the system is in good shape. And as a taxpayer of New York up until most recently, I also appreciate that we saved the taxpayers some money. So bottom line, BERS is a great institution, benefits from having had a lot of good people work on it, especially the trustees that went along with the recommendations. So thank you very much.
Right, Mr. Wright, we expect to see you regularly in our office when you're a retired gentleman.
Sure.
Okay. So just not quickly, but from me, tonight we'll be seeking a vote on the administrative budget for fiscal 2023. Last month, we presented a budget which included a 4% compensation increase across the agency. We are prepared to offer a second version of the fiscal 2023 budget without this increase. I wanted to preview this conversation with Daniel and Chitra by acknowledging that the 4% compensation increase may be unique across the other New York City agencies and departments. We propose this compensation increase to support our ability to keep experienced staff at BERS. In a recent McKinsey analysis of the Great Resignation, they identified the most impactful way that individuals can propel their earnings higher. It is by taking a new job. This fact, along with the tight employment market and growing impact of inflation, create both an opportunity and incentive for the Great Resignation to continue, if not get worse. We saw the 4% increase as a defensive maneuver to fight staff departures. To wit, in fiscal 2021, we had 2 staff departures. In fiscal year 2022, to date, we have had 25 departures. We have been hiring aggressively and reduced open headcount from 16 on July 1st, 2021 to 12 vacancies currently. We are pedaling hard and basically making very little progress. Most recently, and anecdotally, we lost 2 staff members. Our CISO candidate left after 1 day following a process that took over a year, involved 3 postings and 2 particular individuals who were offered this job. She lasted 4 hours. A new accountant left after a month, putting us in competition for her services with another New York City agency. She departed or will depart in 2 days for that other opportunity with a significant increase in compensation. This is going to be a challenge for us for a number of years, in my opinion. Now, some other items of business. In response to the possibility of structural change in the Panel for Education policy and the risk of discontinuity of governance and decision-making at the board level, we are proposing changes in the authorities related to contract approvals. The intention of these changes is to protect the agency from an inability to approve contracts important to continued operations. We did have a couple of these problems this year, in fact. The risk of discontinuity of governance and decision-making is also being addressed by a resolution to amend the authority and procedures of the Executive Committee to permit that committee to exercise certain shareholder rights and approve contracts below a certain threshold. This amendment also insulates against the hazard of failure to meet quorum by providing that the powers of the Executive Committee will not expire until the board can reconvene and vote on whether to extend or rescind these powers. We will be proposing resolutions that appoint an alternate member of the Audit Committee. Please consider volunteering. The Audit Committee has significant impact on our agency's desire for continued improvement and can be a fun meeting to attend. We will be proposing resolutions that appoint an alternate. Oh, I've already talked about that. There will be 2 resolutions relating to contract amendments with temporary staffing agencies. These resolutions extend our existing temp contracts for 3 months until new contracts with the vendors selected through a finished RFP process can be finalized and all temp staff can be transitioned to the new vendor. This process will also need to accommodate recently adopted changes in the security protocols of the Department of Education, which has third-party contracted out those protocols. Investment Strategy is proposing a resolution to enter an agreement with KPX Global, which I want to highlight. This agreement would drive the development of the BERS Private Market ESG Pilot Project. This innovative project will support the aligning of our actions with our intentions in the BERS private markets asset allocations. Finally, there are 3 educational opportunities I would like to recommend to trustees. The Coried Global Summit is scheduled for July 20th to 22nd. We have a long history of participating in this conference. This is a smaller conference that allows for education around fiduciary duties and investment decision-making, as well as an opportunity to meet with other public plan trustees. Karen can help organize your attendance if you're interested. Also, the National Conference on Teacher Retirement Annual Trustee Workshop, July 24th through 27th. NCTR provides a very strong curriculum in this program and a large turnout of teacher pension system trustees. Finally, Professional Pensions is offering a half-day virtual conference called Pension 360, focused on fiduciary decision-making. This virtual conference is scheduled for the morning of September 20th. I will send around an email with more information, and this email will have a registration link, and we can help with any assistance you need on that. I will be sending out emails on all 3 of these opportunities, and if you have any interest in attending them, I would encourage you to do so. And that's it for me, Russ.